Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. We have a very positive and nurturing community here, and when it comes to how to listen to a song for the first time, y'all are also very passionate. You'd be surprised how many emails I receive insisting that I have to listen to the album version or a particular live performance, but not the other way around, and I get it. First impressions only happen once. So, I'm going to listen to the comments from YouTube and follow your advice to listen to the live performance of BABYMETAL's Akatsuki. Let's get to it. I love this lighter start with the piano, just like very light instrumentation behind her, but of course, very powerful voice. And the way that then drew us in and then created a lot of fun with the heavy instrumentation that entered just here. That was awesome. I also find it so fascinating how different cultures will essentially promote certain areas of resonance in music. This sound has a lot of nasality and a lot of point in the sound. It's all like boom right there with very little vibrato as well, yet a lot of power. It's like a photon beam the entire time. It's just right there and very present. I think that sound has so much cutting power and works really well with power metal to cut through it, right? Let's go back. There's a lot of really interesting things, and I want to point out some of the nasality and the focus she's bringing into her sound. It's so lovely. Okay, so from that very beginning, notice that she actually sings through, I think it's an M. It's a nasal vowel that she sings through with tons of presence in the voice. When you're singing through a nasal vowel, your mouth is closed. The sound can't propagate as much because your mouth is closed. It has to go out through your nose, which just has more stuff in the way, essentially. So in order to get a consistent stream of sound, you have to really pay attention to continuing to thread power through that nasal area. Right? Mano. And I love the way she's able to pull back and give just a little bit of a lighter dynamic right there. There's a tenderness while still remaining strong. She just adds a tiny bit of airiness in the voice. I'm going to go back one more time. I appreciate the sustain in her voice as well. There's a lot of things I appreciate. Okay. Back again. Sorry, I didn't get... There we go. That's the beginning. Nice. So sustaining power was something I mentioned just before I started going again. A lot of times people struggle with getting to a pitch and then keeping it locked in for a long time. As you're singing a pitch, your air is going out. That's part of what happens, right? You breathe in, the air starts to go out, your vocal folds go whack, 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 and that creates the pitch. And in order to sustain that pitch, you have to still have that airflow coming out. But your airflow is getting less because you just don't have as much. It's gone away. And that actually means that the pressure of air underneath your vocal folds, which helps create the pitch, that pressure is getting a little bit less naturally. So in order to sustain a pitch, you actually have to initiate a little more energy to help keep it going. A lot of people really struggle with this. I'm guessing she was probably pretty natural at it, or just did it from such a young age that she doesn't have to think about it. But at this point, it's just amazing how well she locks in that sound and keeps it going. Back just a little bit again, and then we'll move forward. It's locked. Just having so much fun. Whoa. So much about the design of this live performance. The flames are so cool. I love the way that they've really made a lot of things center around red and black, although at the very beginning it was blue before it went into the heavier instrumentation. And I love her cape combined with this like almost like ballerina-like skirt. It's got a lot of tulle down underneath. And then of course the makeup of the band too. I think kami, I think that means like ancient spirits or perhaps old relatives, possibly as well. And you've got this like almost ghostly thing happening with them. There's so much that's exciting about the live presentation, yet she seems so chill in the center of it all. The stage is rotating and she's just totally centered. I love it. Composure. Wow. I love that she's bringing a lot of power into her lower sound there. It's really easy to have powerful highs, but especially with such a wall of sound of instruments, I think that a lot of singers actually have to focus more on their lows to get them to break through that massive sound. And she's obviously continuing to give a lot of energy into those lows to help them come through. Additionally, I find it so fascinating how precise she is with the pitch. It almost sounds like it's been tuned, but I think that's just her. I think she's just super, super precise about her pitch. And take with that the precision of the vowels. It's amazing. It's almost like surgically precise how she sings with both the vowels and having a really clean, clear, defined mouth shape and a specific pitch at the same time. It's very accurate singing. Look at her stance. it is so grounded. She's definitely got the horse stance thing that Bruce Dickinson has got going too, right? She is in the ground of that stage. I think that would be extra important with the rotating stage, that you don't want to let your sense of support get too high. If you can almost have your sense of support going through your feet into the stage, your breath muscles don't go into your feet into the stage, okay? Like that isn't scientifically what happens. But if you think about it that low, it will help to lower your breath support so that maybe you'll be getting down to the bottom of your pelvic floor, which will help with these really long, sustained high notes. She's belting, and she's belting with very little vibrato, which is, man, she's got some healthy chords there. But also, they're just very strong. And I think there's got to be some youth at play there too, which is why we don't have as much vibrato coming in. It's part of the style as well. But it's amazing to me when I hear this sort of sustain with that much power all the time and not a little bit of relaxation that can come from the vibrato. She just has to be so grounded to make that happen well. And she is. She's really grounded. Wow. Okay, I'm going to go back just a little bit. Notice that her stance really isn't changing. And she also tends to be wide. So you'll notice when she's doing a lot of hand motions, she tends to be out wider with her arms, not just straight in front. If you go wider, sometimes that helps with rib expansion in the back, which can add another layer of support. Go back a little more and you'll notice that. Yeah. Super grounded. Ooh, cool. Wow. Ooh. I just love it when we get two guitars playing at the same time. I'm a sucker for harmony. Also, I'm a sucker for pink glitter. That guitar is so cool. Oh, and so I was speaking earlier about Kami. I had read a little more information about the band, and I believe that the instrumentalists behind the singer, I guess all of it is called BABYMETAL, but this is Sue Metal, who's the current singer. Originally, there were 3 singers. I think there's 2 now. And then there's some other dancers too. But anyhow, this backup band is often referred to as, I think, the Kami or the Kami band. And it's really interesting because I was thinking, oh, Kami, which is something that you sing in the background singers of Madame Butterfly. So in Madame Butterfly, I played this in Opera Theater St. Louis at one point. I was a young artist and sang in the chorus. And we were all these ancestors in this scene. And there was a big prayer to the ancestors singing, oh, Kami. So I believe that's why I think that Kami is referring to ancestors or spirits of the ancient. It's really cool. I like that idea of bringing your ancestors on stage with you and that they rock out to metal. That's so awesome. And then it's just so cool. Their makeup and their hair, everything about the style and the presentation of BABYMETAL feels very much thought out, but also really fun. And they seem to have a great time. So I'm digging it. All right, look at how much fun they're having. glitter. She just keeps going and going and going. She's got so much reserve in power and endurance. It's shocking. Yes, when you're young, you can get away with a lot more, but I don't think this is just youth here. I really think that she's got great training behind her. And I say this because a lot of that stance and the arm movement, I see that going. It's also in her mouth shapes. She's really specific and she's moving her mouth a lot. You see when she goes up for a really high note, her jaw tends to drop more. That's usually a sign of some training happening. Drop for the top. And then it was also really interesting the way she very deftly adjusted her in-ear at one point. She seems like such a seasoned professional for being quite young. I'm going to go back again. It's also the line, the way she's singing. She's keeping everything within a similar dynamic so that certain things aren't popping out more than others. She's good. So powerful for such a little person, too. Nice. So I love the way she released up and out of that note. A lot of times when people get done with a big note, they will collapse inwards and think, okay, I'm going to get ready to sing my next one. And instead, she releases it up into the audience, which really keeps people engaged until her next phrase. Wow, beautiful stagecraft. I gotta say, it's actually really fun to sing on your knees on stage, especially if you still have a wide stance with it. Though I hope her knees didn't get bruised. It looked like she went down kind of hard there. But that can actually help you feel even more grounded in the stage. A lot of singers will drop down to their knees for particularly high or emphatic moments. And not only does it look cool, it also helps serve for grounding you even more. And see how she's kept a really wide stance, essentially, too. It's a lot of smartness in the way she's grounding. Man, this really sounds like it's from anime. I know that there's some connections to Naruto, which is a really cool and fun series in there too. And I went over the English translation ahead of time, but my strength is not in Japanese. I have strengths in lots of other languages, but we don't have many operas in Japanese, so that's not something that I covered really heavily. So I'm not going to go into translation too much. The one thing that I will say over and over, though, is how extremely accurate and precise those vowels are. And I love the way that when she moves from one sound to the next sound. We don't have this sort of hybridization of vowels. There's not any mush between. It's just really clear, delineated shapes that she's going back and forth between and not hitting all of the stuff in between in the middle. Then, additionally, she's belting this. Like, she's just really going full the whole time. She's going high as well while still maintaining a lot of that TA activation, meaning that she's bringing in this thicker, meatier part of her vocal folds to create this heavier sound, which can be very taxing, but she doesn't seem taxed. I point back to her support system for why that doesn't seem taxing to her. It's really quite good. I love that sound in the background. Boom, boom, right? That, it's like revving it up. Wow, wow. Whoa, going around again. Wow. I don't know how to emphasize enough that what she's doing should be very vocally taxing. But we aren't hearing any signs that her voice is crumbling underneath that vocal load. That it has very direct forward placement. It's belted. It is very, very powerful in nature. So there's a lot of breath pressure that's sustained for a long time. This is high. This is around an area of the voice where most people want to flip over. Instead, she's just essentially pushing through it, but pushing in a really smart way, having all of this support underneath her. It's sustained for a long time. She's been going like this the whole song. That's hard to do. It's really hard to do, and she makes it sound easy. That's high. And it's so accurate. Wow. 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 I love the way that her sound is so bold and direct. I also love the overall presentation of the band. It is dramatic in a lot of ways. And this combination of crossing culture and bringing this heavy metal aspect as well is just fun. It's really fun to rock out to, right? So if you want to see some more analysis of voices that I consider really bold and direct, I'm going to put up a playlist over here, and may you fall more in love with music every day.